Minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This amendment strikes a very dangerous precedence for Congress to somehow micromanage the training processes of military chaplains. We have military chaplains from diverse faith backgrounds. We have many faiths, in fact, the majority of faiths that, for instance, don't sanctify gay marriage. We have other faiths. The one that I happen to belong to, I'm a member of the Reformed Jewish faith, and there's many other Christian faiths, including the Episcopalian faith, which do sanction same-sex unions. Likewise, it's an important part of chaplain training that they're allowed to counsel against, for instance, homosexual acts or extramarital heterosexual acts. That's a part of chaplaincy training as well. For Congress to interfere with the military processes of chaplaincy training is absurd and unprecedented. And with regard to this particular training program, I'd like to ask my friend from Kansas, Mr. Huelskamp, if I could just yield a moment to him if he has read this particular training manual that he's seeking to defund here, and I'll yield to the gentleman from Kansas.
Recognized.
Yes, if the gentleman will restate his question.
Would the gentleman from Colorado restate
I'm sorry. Has the gentleman from Kansas read the training manual that he's seeking to defund in this case?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. That's an excellent question. We tried to obtain a copy of that from the Department of Defense today, and they refused to provide a copy. What I do have is an online 3-page summary of the manual. So reclaiming
my time, I think that the straight answer is no, and in fact our ranking member and others are unable to get that from the Navy Liaison's office. Again, I think it's an offense to the military to second-guess their training for chaplains. No doubt those documents could eventually come our way and should for oversight activities, but for us to somehow defund the training of chaplains to implement Don't Ask, Don't Tell makes no sense. Again, chaplains will be worried. For instance, Catholic chaplains will be worried to advise their followers that homosexuality is a sin if that is not included in the training. Those that for whom homosexuality is not a sin will also likewise be worried about advising the troops. There will be a void, a huge void, to not train the spiritual advisors to members of our military about the implementation of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I mean, why not try to not train any of the troops? I mean, there's a whole, again, whether you supported it or not, I think most of us believe that it was better that there was a training process and let's say a court had ordered, which has now happened, absent a training process and instantaneous change. With regard to the chaplaincy, to second-guess an internal military training document, again, which they have indicated that they will revise accordingly, is to show a huge lack of judgment of the men and women who run the military, an enormous lack of confidence in the institution of the chaplaincy, an offense to the chaplaincy and the military, to somehow deign that Congress is expressing that they should not be trained regarding a major military policy, that they should somehow take the risk on their own, that they should worry about advising members of their faith with regard to within their faith tradition, whether homosexuality is a sin or not, regarding members of their faith as to whether they can be married or not. This is a diverse country religiously, and likewise the institution of our military reflects that diversity. And to somehow, again, second-guess a military training document that hasn't even been read by the prime sponsor of this amendment shows a tremendous lack of faith, and is a very dangerous precedence for Congress in terms of interfering with the training procedures of the military. We could, of course, as a body or as individual members, go through every single training manual, find things we like, find things we don't like. But again, to micromanage the military to that extent, particularly in light of a policy change which has ramifications for the chaplaincy. The chaplaincy is by and large where the rubber meets the road with regard to how individual members are being advised about their sexual orientation, about what behaviors are moral and what behaviors are immoral. And to somehow say that Congress will tell the chaplaincy not to train anybody on implementing this policy change leaves our soldiers in a spiritual lurch. It leaves our Christian soldiers in a spiritual lurch. It leaves our Jewish soldiers in a spiritual lurch, our Muslim soldiers in a Jewish lurch, all of those who take advantage of the good offices of the chaplaincy in the military, just as, of course, we have a chaplain in this fine institution, the United States Congress. So again, this is a change that perhaps many members of the chaplaincy were not in favor of. Some were. It depends on their faith position, their own political opinions. But they need to be trained in accordance with military protocols, and this amendment would gut that, and I strongly urge a no vote, and I yield back the balance of my time.